Hello guys and welcome back to my channel, Manoj Web. My name is Manoj Kumar and my goal is to make your HTML and CSS life easier. In today's video, we're going to be having a look at the top 5 underused HTML tags that I researched and found out about. So let's get started. Alright, as you can see, we have this basic HTML page where I've just put some headers with the name of the tag that we're going to look at. We're going to be looking at the pre-tag, the code tag, the KBD tag, the mark tag, and the Q tag. And I'll explain what each of those mean in a moment. So first, let's have a look at the pre-tag. So as you can see for this paragraph in this section, I have this format like this text, which is a lot of white space, but as per like the paragraph standards, the white space is not considered when putting the paragraph in. So there's no white space that's shown here. But even if I have this white space here, and you could obviously do like add some changes to try to make it look like that, but there's a better way. You can use the pre-tag, which is pre-formatted text, which basically keeps all the things, all the spaces, all the white space in there. So to add this new lines, this carriage lines. Wait, before that, I guess it made a error there. Yes. So as you can see, it keeps the whole format when it's printed out. It also has the default font family, but it keeps this carriage line which I put here. It has these extra spaces. If I were to return back to the paragraph tag, it would not do that because paragraph just gets rid of the white space, and this pre-tag can be used to like maintain that white space basically. So that's what you could use the pre-formatted text for. And let me just put that back here. Yeah, that keeps doing that for some reason. Don't know what's wrong with it. And that's what it's gonna do. Now let's have a look at the code tag. As you can probably tell by its name, it just you wrap it around any piece of code that you wanna like put in your what's it called? Put in your view. So I have these paragraph tags and these other HTML tags. I want to wrap them around a code tag, tell the browser that these are pieces of code, and you can style them separately as well to make them look like pieces of code. So I have these paragraphs, right? I could just write, wait, let me get that there. So let me write it here real quick. So I can paste it here, and I can paste it here. Do the same around here. I don't know why it keeps like going over. It's probably error with CodePen or I did something wrong. But you can wrap them around code tags to tell the browser that these are pieces of code, and it give it its default monospace font family and just style them like this. But you can style them separately as well. Let me just put these in these other elements in code tags as well, and then we'll style that with the CSS just to have an example. So first, let me just write code here so I can just copy and paste that instead of actually messing around with that. Copy that, paste, 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 paste. Okay, so now we got our piece of code. In the code tag, you can see these are styled as code tags now. Now let's actually style them with the CSS. You can just give them a background of some kind of gray and make the color red. And you can also use different font families if you want. I'll just do like the background thing. I think this should work for the gray color. That's a bit too gray. So let me just do like light gray. Yeah, I'd say that's good for now. Let's just do color of red. and you can use different like font families to make it look better. But right now I'm just showing a bit. I'll add a padding of like 10 pixels. No, that's too much. Display inline block, and let's just do a border radius just because we can of like 5 pixels. Yeah, I'd say that looks kind of well for. So this is what the code tag basically does. It just specifies this piece of text as a part of code. Next is the KBD tag, which stands for keyboard input. So keyboard input, when you have uh, these keyboard commands such as Windows, Control, and Alt, you can wrap these around the KBD tag to specify them as like keyboard input tags, and that just tells that to the browser. And that's basically all it does. And you can style it separately, just like the code tag. So I can do. Let me do the same thing I did with the code tag and just write it here. KBD. I'll copy that. So you have the Windows, Alt, R, Control. I'll just copy this ending tag and put it everywhere. Control number. Oh, I don't know if I should put a number, but okay. So that just specifies it as keyboard input and has the same default styling as the code tag, I think. So as you can see, it looks a bit different. And you can also just uh, put CSS styles on it. I'm just gonna do the same CSS styles as the code, so I'll just put KBD. And as you can see, that just makes them look like that again. I could also do it differently and make them like, instead of a background color, do something else like KBD. I could make them like color stay the same. I could give them a different font family, like font size. Maybe I can increase to like 1.3 rem. Oh, I made it smaller. 2 rem. That's a bit too big. 1.7 rem. Yeah, I'd say that's okay. Give it like a font weight of like bold or like any other number. And maybe I could give it a background color of gray as well, like a light gray. Okay, yeah, that doesn't look good, but I think you can style it more if you want, but I'll just keep it with this. It basically specifies keyboard input, and we have the mark tag next. So mark tag is basically highlighting text. You can do that using a span tag and targeting with CSS, but there's other ways to do it as well, and that's one of them is through the mark tag. So actually, let me see if there's anything in the setting that I don't know about, because it keeps like going over the text and I don't want it to. Format, maximize, unfold. Yeah, I'm gonna ignore that for now and I'll try to figure it out later on. But for now, I'll just show you by doing it this way. So I can write the mark tag. Where did it go? So any text surrounded by a mark tag, like this important text, it will automatically be highlighted. So if I just put surround that with a mark tag, this is important text. As you'll see, as soon as I get rid of this, and it refreshes, as you can see, this important text got highlighted, and mark tag is just that easy way to highlight text to tell the browser that this is important, highlight it, and you can also do it multiple times, and you can target it as well, and just give different like background color. I could do like, oh wait, I wrote the wrong brackets. Oops. Background color of like red or something. Yeah, and you could change the color to white, something like that. Yeah, however you want to style it. And finally, we have the Q tag, which is inline quotation. which is basically when you have these small quotes, you can just wrap them on the Q tag and the browser will know it's a quotation. It's usually for only like small quotes. For bigger quotes, you'd use block quote and the site, but for small quotes, you can just use the Q. Let me just do that again. Actually, let me just copy the quotation, and the Q tag automatically adds the quotation marks for you, so you don't need to add them. So I'll do Q, and I'll do /Q. I'll just paste what I copied here. This is that. So now I added the quotation here and the name of the person that said it, Benjamin Disraeli. Hope for the best, but prepare for the worst. And you can see the quotation marks got automatically added, and they don't count when you select it, which is I don't know really why, but that's something to be careful about, I guess. So you can the quotation property, like Q property, you can also add something else. So you can also say cite and give it the citation or like the location you got it from, the source. So I can just write Benjamin Disraeli over here instead of like right over there. And then I can just paste that there and get rid of this. It won't show up on here, but it'll be remembered in the Q tag and the browser will know the citation. If you really want to show it, you can just write it. You can still just write it later on, like after this. So Benjamin Disraeli. I think I'm pronouncing it correctly. I'm probably pronouncing it wrong though. Alright, and that's the Q tag. You can basically use small quotations, short quotations, but if it's like a bigger quotation, you should still use block quote, and that's about it. So you can also obviously see yeah, you can also style a Q tag in CSS and make it like bigger or like different font families. And that's about it. So let's review over what we learned. You first went over the pre-tag, which allows you to write pre-formatted text, which means it'll take in all the white space that you add in the HTML source file. So any white space that I add here will be shown here. So if I add like after this volatile, if I add a carriage line, as you can see, it shows up like that. If you just had a paragraph tag, it would not show any of the extra white space that's shown on in your HTML. So this is a way to do that. Then you learn about the code tag, which allows you to wrap your any piece of your text, which is code basically, and you can style it separately to make it look like code, as you've seen in probably other websites as well. Then you have the KBD tag, which is keyboard input, and it's the same as code tag, which you wrap like keyboard input keys in there, like Windows, Alt, Control, Tab. This number is probably not keyboard input. I just put it there for now. And then you have the mark tag, which you can highlight some text with and then style that separately as well. It's somewhat like a span, but span has more uses obviously, but mark you could also do the same. You could also do background color of none, I guess. And I guess that doesn't work. So span would be better off for that. I wonder if inherit works. Yeah, inherit works, so you could do that. And then you have the Q tag, which is the inline quotation, which is just for short quotes, and you can write the citation inside the Q tag itself, or you can write an X afterwards as well, and that's up to you. And that's all we learned. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you learned something new. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and that like button for more future awesome content. So see you next time.